Good evening, everyone. Okay, so what happens is I say good evening, and I like a chorus of people to respond back to me. And we really want to really be fully engaged because we have these babies here tonight that some of them are just dressed to the nines almost. And so I'm going to try one more time, and I'm going to say good evening, and then you're going to really give me some feedback, okay? Okay? Okay. Good evening, everyone. We want to welcome you to our board meeting. This evening is February the 6th, 2025, and it is a combined work session and meeting. So we are going to go on ahead and get started. And first of all, I just wanted to make sure that everyone has had a chance to review the agenda on this evening.
Yes.
All right, so I'm going to go on ahead and call this meeting to order. First of all, we want to say that any members of the public who desire to address the board on any topic related to the board, there's a roster in the back. You have until 6:30 p.m. to do so. So at this time, Mrs. Arambide, would you please call the roll?
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Frazier?
Here.
Dr. Robinson?
Here.
Mrs. Salazar?
Here.
Mrs. Wills Hill?
Here.
Mr. Williams?
Here.
Mr. Gallegos?
Here.
Mr. Rawlings?
Here.
And Madam President, we have a quorum.
Thank you so very much. At this time, we are going on with our agenda. We are at item number 2.3, the Pledge of Allegiance and reading of the mission. So we will stand and we will have the Pledge of Allegiance at this time. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Graduate college and career ready students with the knowledge, skills, attitudes, and behaviors to personally succeed and contribute to the common good.
Thank you. Awesome job. That's right. Good job. Thank you. All right, so we are moving on to item 3.1, adopting the agenda. I just need a motion, please.
Madam President, I move to approve the agenda as presented.
Second. Motion to approve the agenda as presented by Mr. Williams, second by Ms. Frazier. All those in favor?
Aye.
We have a meeting. So on this evening, item 4, we have showcasing Bricker Elementary School. Annie Portier is the principal, and Miss Shell is the Seychelles, the Chelly. You're doing an awesome job. I could just see your students are so eager. So participating on this evening is Azalea Cosby, Jason Salazar, Emily Rachel, Isaac Gray, Araya Denzel, Samantha Olivia, Adeline Chacon, Jessica Ruiz, Slowly, Delina Adamy, Avi Chavez, Marbella Lopez, Natalie Griego, Crystal Rodriguez, Marbella Adamy, Caroline Capone, Catalia Stoley, and Alea Seitz. and Olivia Green. Pardon me if I butchered your name. Okay, but I am so excited to hear your presentation. So at this time, it is in
We have one more student on that name, Miss Daisy Isabella.
Daisy Isabella. Who's Daisy? So sorry. Forgive me. Oh, I appreciate you. Okay, now it is in your.
I'm Joni Garcia. I am one of TAP teachers at Bricker. TAP is a center-based program that stands for the autistic. Started 6, 7 years ago. I was the only TAP teacher. I had 7 kids and I had now we have 3 classrooms.
And then
Now we have 3 classrooms. We have 3 teachers. We have 9 paras. We service 19. So it has grown quite large. We have 2 moderate need teachers, and they have a caseload of over 5 students. We have our own speech therapist, which is a treat because you have to share them. So I just want to introduce you to this young lady. This young lady has been with me for 3 years. And what's your name?
oh yeah.
Ari.
And then like when I do man, so this is something happening.
So we practiced a lot, but we aren't following the script. Should we try the script? Let's try this.
No,
Okay.
we're doing
No.
all my computer.
All right. So let's try this. Say, what's your name?
Oh yeah.
How old are you?
7.
What school do you go to?
Good burger.
You go to Bricker. Hey,
Is that the school today?
that is the Bricker School. You are right.
Yes.
Yeah, that's all pretty now, huh?
Is that a school I
Yep, that's the Bricker School too.
hide
So, Aria, do you like school?
Yes, I do. 'Cause my friends ask me to that.
Because you have friends at school. Do you ride the school bus?
Yes, but
Yes.
they're the same people. I don't know why the people it just do that, and it happened like people do it.
There's always the same people. Aria
Yes.
is riding the special transportation
And
bus.
you
So
are standing right.
she is picked up at the house, dropped to school, picked
Wow.
up at school,
Yes.
and dropped home. So, Ari, what's your favorite special?
PE.
Why?
Because I do PE and football days because my football is not work all day.
Football. No,
when-
we're not going to talk about the Super Bowl. No, no
We
football.
did I go
So-
dancing.
What's your favorite lunch?
We don't have like 3-pack lunches because they don't have lunch at my school. Because they don't have like 3-pack they don't have kitchen.
You do have lunch at your school.
Well, they don't have same people.
You don't have the same people at lunch at your school.
Yes, and Miss Julie and Miss Garcia and
Miss Julia is one of our parents,
Miss Melanie
and Miss Melody is one of our parents.
and Anna
Anna Marie is one of our parents.
and Eris.
And Eris is one of our students. But I just wanted you to kind of get an idea about my little social butterfly here. Everybody at Bricker knows her.
Yeah, but they happen to the people.
So
I
I'm
know
going to
it's
pass it
so
on. But I just wanted you to know we're really proud of this little girl.
We all belong because when we come to school, we are all greeted at the door. We know that the adults care about us. We are listened to. I know that our voices matter. Kids are nice and easy to make friends.
I'll learn because of our teachers. We have teachers that care about and give us extra recess if we don't talk a lot.
We all lead because of the leadership team is school-wide. We have senior student council, junior student council, classroom ambassadors, and culture ambassadors. Classrooms also have leadership responsibilities. We learn in the class how to be responsible for our own bodies and our own things. As a building, we create a culture of belonging by having a variety of clubs, such as cheerleading, student council, a variety of sports and art clubs. We create learning by having a 10-to-1 ratio of students to staff. Tutoring programs and are very successful one time. We are leading by having fact tactics, ELG grant, and equity.
Two hundred and 73 students, 67 Spanish and Latino, 10% Black and Mannequin, 13% white, 9% to your races, 0.1% American Indian / African American. I love Bricker because the teachers are hopeful and I have so much fun in PE, running, playing football, and soccer. How does diversity make us stronger? Diversity makes us stronger by encouraging each other. We cheer for each other at recess. We make sure all students feel welcomed at Bricker by getting to know each other in the connection circle. We help each other understand what we do here.
Good evening. My name is Crystal Krieger Wildenstein, and I'm one half of the 5th grade team at Bricker. Because my name is such a mouthful, everybody likes to call me CW because it's a lot easier of the whole thing. So Bricker is so much more than a school. I like to think about it as kind of a tiny Colorado Springs within the Harrison School District 2 state. Much like the Springs, see, Bricker, we have a small town feel. We have a close knit feel with this big city attitude. And our big city attitude, it's an attitude of success. It's the success and the drive for student achievement. See, here at Bricker, we don't have staff. We have school family. And with only 54 of us being at the building, that includes 2 educators per grade level from K through 5, 2 awesome CLDE instructors, one of which you guys are going to hear from here shortly, 2 moderate needs professionals, 3 autism teachers, one of which you have already heard from tonight, 1 full-time PE teacher, a half-time art teacher, a half-time music teacher, a math coach, and a literacy coach who are there all the time to give us ideas for higher success rates and On top of that, we have one counselor, one social worker, and a psychologist who are there for all those moments, not just for the students, but also there for us as staff when we just need someone to lean on. And of course, Fricker, we can't fail when we've got an awesome support team. We have 9 special education paraprofessionals. We have 1 library media technician who's always there to have our backs when we can't figure out how to turn our clever touches on. We have 3 instructional paras. We have a health tech who's there for when we really need to make sure, is this kiddo okay to be here? Or do they need to go home and rest a little bit? We have 2 ECRI paras. Our registrar and our secretary are 2 of the biggest heroes that we have. Anything ever goes wrong, we know who we can call for backup. But we can't leave out our building technician and our 2 night custodians who keep the building looking stellar and clean and sanitary for our kids. Our nutrition manager and our 2 nutrition support specialists also deserve to be recognized because they provide nice, healthy meals for the kids. But of course, you know, we can't leave without sprinkling in our admin last but not least. They're not just the makers of the law layers of the land, but they're also what I like to consider that wonderful crumb coating on the inside of a beautiful fondant cake. They keep us together when we feel like things are falling apart. And that is what makes our school so amazing with our staff. I now would like to call up Miss Jacqueline Jones, who is from CLDE.
Hi there, my name is Jacqueline Jones, and I've been a CLDE teacher at Bricker for the last 9 years. One of the things that makes Bricker really diverse is our large CLDE population. 25% of our students are active multilingual learners. 99% of those speak Spanish, but we do have 1 that speaks Cebuano, and we have a few that speak more than 1 language. I have 3 of my students here with me that are going to introduce themselves.
Hola, buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Xavi, soy de Guatemala y hablo 3 idiomas: inglés, español y dialecto de Guatemala. Good evening, my name is Xavi. I'm from Guatemala and I speak 3 languages: English, Spanish, and a dialect from Guatemala.
Mi nombre es Aileen y hablo español. My name is Aileen and I speak Spanish.
Mi nombre es Marbella y hablo español. My name is Marbella and I speak Spanish.
So I also get to be our community liaison for our school, and so I get to help plan our Title I nights. We have 4 Title I nights: our Bricker Barbecue at the beginning of the year, STEAM Night in the fall, Literacy and Career Day in the spring, and our Cultural Night at the end of the year. I'm going to ask our students, what is your favorite cultural or title night?
My favorite family night is our cultural night because it makes everyone happy and it is a way to get out of the house and have fun.
My favorite title night is the Breaker Barbecue. We can celebrate the start of the school year with our families.
My favorite family night is the Bricker Barbecue because we can go with our family and there are fun games and activities.
All right, so I am Jenny Courtier, and I am the very, very proud principal from Bricker Elementary. I would just like to touch base on our R1, which is our school performance framework. As you guys can see, we did get approaching for our academic achievements, but we also received meeting for our academic growth. Because of the percentage points, we did receive performance for our SPF this year, and we're really excited about that. We do know that there's still a lot of work to still be done, but we're still very proud of our efforts that we have. Ms. Cicelli, our AP, will talk a little bit later on about our UIP goals, but we are still very, very proud of all the work our students are doing. Cicelli. Hi, I'm Kristen Cicelli, the Assistant Principal at Bricker, and we wanted to share with you our median growth percentile from CMAS. This measures the growth that our students show from 3rd to 4th grade, as well as 4th to 5th grade on their CMAS scores. The growth percentile measures not only our students, but the rest of the students in the state. You can see we have shown a comparison of where we are amongst the other schools in the district. 50% is what is considered meeting. You can see on the green, Bricker was at 45%, so very close. And for our math in the pink, we have Bricker exceeding at 53%. And now Jacqueline Jones will talk to you about access.
So another thing that we're really proud of at Bricker is our WIDA access scores. If you look at the graphs, Bricker is the blue line, the district average is the orange line, and the Colorado State average is the green line. As you can see, our median growth percentile and our on-track data is above the district and the state since 2020. So we also have many community partners that come alongside us and support us in a multitude of ways. Some of those include Pikes Peak State College, NAMI, Texas Roadhouse, Heartspace Kids Counseling, but our biggest supporter is Woodman Valley, and they provide food bags for our kids, they provide luncheons for our teachers, and they support us throughout the year in a lot of ways. And another thing that they've started this year is a program called Kids Hope, and I'm going to invite Lori up, and she's going to speak a little bit about that.
So I am the director of our Kids Hope program through Woodman Valley Chapel. And Kids Hope USA is a national program that really equips and resources us as a church to partner with a school and to provide mentors to those students that just need that little extra encouragement and support. Each mentor is matched with only one student. And they go to the school once a week for 1 hour to play games, to do activities with their student, and to just build that relationship. Each mentor really plans and targets those activities that they do each week to encourage that student academically, to promote and build character and life skills, and of course, just to simply build that friendship and that relationship. We as mentors really do embrace 4 principles that we love to remember, and those are to be faithful and committed to being there each week, to convey to our kiddo that we are here just for you. They don't often get to hear that. To really make sure that our kiddo is seen and heard by speaking their name often. And lastly, really to consistently convey those messages of positivity and to really affirm to our student that we really do believe them, to start to instill that into them. We currently have 20 mentors going to Bricker Elementary, and really in that year and a half since we launched that a program at Bricker, which was last fall, we have seen just a couple of examples. We have seen one student completely turn her school attendance around. One of our tougher boys, we watched throughout the year, last year, just struggle with being positive and really had moments of being almost uncooperative. And this year we have truly watched him just progress in becoming positive and being responsive and being enthusiastic and just loves and looks forward to his mentor coming. So we have watched changes in the students that we have provided mentors to. And so we believe truly in the impact of mentoring and are just so grateful to have that at Bricker. And I think next we are going to have CW come and share about outdoor scrappy classroom.
This past fall, we at Bricker were lucky enough to be able to partake in what is called the Good Natured Learning's 60-minute outdoor learning challenge. During this challenge, several of us teachers were trained on how to turn our outdoor school environment that we currently have into what we call a scrappy classroom. What that does is that integrates all the senses of our children, their sights, their smells, their touches, their feels with the sun, and brings a whole world approach to even what some of my friends here might think is the boringest of subjects, reading. But it gives them a new excitement and a reason to want to do it because we get to do it outside. So I brought a couple friends with me today to answer some questions that I have to share with you guys on what some of the good things are to come with our outdoor scrappy classrooms. So would you like to introduce yourself, ma'am? Go ahead and come on in.
Hi, my name is Trinity.
And what grade are you in, Trinity?
I'm in fourth.
You're in fourth grade. So did you have a chance this year to go outside for learning? Did you go outside for gym at all? How about field day?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. And what do you like about going outside for like field day, which is kind of like a gym class?
I get to run around and play with friends.
You get to run around and play with your friends. Do you feel like being outside gives you a sense that you get to let some energy out, or do you feel kind of cooped up and bored?
I get to let some energy out.
You get to let some energy out. I bet your teachers appreciate that, right? Huh? Okay. So it also gives our kids a chance to be able to expend some energy that otherwise might be held within while we're sitting in the classrooms. Thank you, ma'am. Miss Daisy, let's ask you a couple questions real quick. So Daisy is one of my fifth graders. Daisy, say hi. Introduce
Hello.
yourself. Yeah. So Daisy, what have you liked about what we've done with the outdoor challenge in our room? Right here, kiddo.
It helps us get a lot of energy out, just like C said, and it also helps us get more engaged into learning instead of just being in a boring classroom with prevented lights and stuff.
So thanks to the learning trust, the Trust for Public Land. I'm sorry, I had a momentary brain lapse. But the Trust for Public Land and their funders, as well as RISE, they have been awesome enough to raise some money to help us build some outdoor learning spaces. So far, we have gotten our shed with some materials that we can use once Colorado decides that it's going to warm up enough for us to go outside without turning into frozen, children and teachers. But it's going to be an awesome experience. And I think that it's something that we're all very thankful for. And I really look forward to, and I know the kids look forward to, all of the classes to come that get to benefit from this and utilize this to the best of their abilities to really enhance their learning. Right now, I'd like to turn it back over to Ms. Cicelli.
Hi. In addition to all of these things, we also do focus on academics. One thing that we were looking at as we were looking at our CMAS scores and talking about that with all of our stakeholders, we did realize that we do need to have a focus on literacy as well as math, especially at the tier 1 level to get some really solid foundations for our students. We also understand that we need to be well-rounded. We also help them with PBIS, supporting them the whole child as well. We've been very fortunate to be able to have ECRI paras through that program, as well as using the fact tactics fluency that we're piloting this year, and also our outdoor learning space, which really contributes to all of the things that we're working on with our students. And now I think back to CW. Yes. Okay.
I think I might have just should have not sat down the first time, right? So our school strengths. This year we have been focused on creating new foundations of systems and protocols for the betterment of our students, for the betterment of our teachers. We've been providing opportunities for all of our students to be leaders, such as being able to present tonight and talk to everyone here. We strive on being a place where all children can belong. Regardless of anything that happens outside of school, we want our school to be their second home. We champion a growth mindset with all of our kids. It's not a, gosh, I can't do this. It's a, I can't do this yet. Yet is our key word at Bricker, because anybody is capable of achieving anything if they put their mind to it. According to our staff survey, 94% of our staff this year look forward to coming to work. That's a 20% increase from past numbers. And 98% of staff said that their coworkers and colleagues work well together. I've never been in an environment like that. And I hope that I get to see Bricker continue to succeed. Now, Daisy's going to introduce some very, very awesome individuals from our school who are going to perform a little something for you.
On behalf of our Breaker Spirit Squad, please welcome our Breaker cheerleaders.
Oh, okay. New to the party, sorry. That was the closing story. Yeah, because I truly do believe that our students are why we come. And so every day that I come to school, I'm very blessed to see all of our wonderful students. So it's not about me, it is truly about them. And so that's why I wanted to cheerleaders. So, thank you.
Can you come back?
What can I do for you?
Wow, thank you so very much for such a wonderful and engaging presentation on this evening. And we're just very, very proud of everything that we've seen tonight, and the numbers speak for themselves. The culture been built there. I just pointed out the staff survey, 94% of staff agreed they look forward to coming. That's something to be very, very proud of.
I'm very blessed to have an amazing staff that supports me, an amazing community, and amazing students that show up with smiles every day. Thanks for letting us present.
Sorry. I just want to say you got wonderful, well-behaved, talented children. They're beautiful, all of you. And you got the support parents here with the children. This is what we like to see. We're all about community, all about family. Appreciate all of you. Thank you.
And I just want to add, Ms. JJ, that family nights are packed in. I can't even find. And so I have worked with Bricker Elementary School, the leadership at Bricker, guys are so accommodating, and I think that's what they want in every school. And when I've been at the family nights, that is clear. I mean, people and waiting in line, and I remember the bouncy house packed out, and I just appreciate the culture of community. Thank you to staff, thank you students for coming up here and presenting for us, even though you were nervous. You all did a very good job.
I just want to say that building strong school culture, your staff and students and families, building community, those are definitely ingredients for trust. And when trust is built, the academics are going to come. And so I just want to wish you guys continued success. And students, you did a phenomenal job. And what warmed my heart best is the theme that I kept hearing was wanting to come to school, enjoying a sense of family, those pieces. Because we can't really teach the heart, but we can coach teachers and we can coach staff. But when you love and you own that community, the sky's the limit. So keep on keeping on.
Definitely love to see all the kids come out. Miss Kunzel started out very strong for us this evening with the student representation. She did an amazing job. Family staff, I love that term. I love the term family staff. Yes, you guys are one big family. Couldn't tell you all apart from one another, to be honest with you. But you guys love big, and I love that for you all. Thank you guys for being a part of D2. Love it.
But wait, there's more. We want all the students participated, come up, and we're going to take a picture with you, and we've got something for you.
Very exciting. Yes.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to continue on with our agenda for this evening. We are moving on to item 5.1. That is for public comment. Members of the public who desire to address the board on any topic related to board work are welcome to do so at this time. Speakers are requested to limit their remarks to not more than 3 minutes, or to appoint a spokesperson if the concern is a group concern, and to supplement verbal presentations, written reports if necessary or desired. Personal attacks will not be allowed. Although the board does not respond to any public comment, we will review the information presented and provide responses as needed. So I do have, at this time, one presenter. We're going to ask for Mr. Jamie Montoya de Schmidt. He will come to the dais at this time. State your name, home address. Have any children who attend? And your topic for this evening.
Absolutely. Jamie Montoya Smith, live at 712 Pleasant Street, Colorado Springs, Colorado. Yeah, I got 3 daughters. They're amazing. And I am the D2 Mental Health Services Coordinator. And I'm going to talk about National School Counseling Week. So good evening, President Wills Hill, esteemed members of the Harrison School District 2 Board of Education, Superintendent Hansel, and our dedicated D2 executive leadership. My name is Jamie Montoya Smith, and I'm honored to be the D2 Mental Health Services Coordinator. Tonight, during National School Counseling Week, I'm here to recognize the incredible contributions of our school counselors and thank the board and leadership team for your continued support of the school counseling profession in our district. First, I want to highlight a major achievement. For the first time in D2's history, every building in Harrison School District 2 has a full-time counselor or more. This isn't just about staffing. It's a testament to our district's commitment to equity, access, and opportunity for all students, aligning with our mission to empower, advocate, and support their academic, social, and emotional growth. Our school counselors' impact extends far beyond crisis support or mental health. Guided by the American School Counselor Association's national model, They lead programs that boost academic achievement, attendance, and well-being. They build resilience, foster academic success, and help students reach their full potential. Let me share two quick examples of their impact. At Centennial Elementary, school counselor Dawn Miller connected social and emotional learning with academic growth.
You have one more minute.
Okay. Using academic and behavioral data, she identified students behind in reading and created SEL groups to support them. The results were remarkable. With typical reading interventions, might expect 10% growth. Dawn students reached nearly 32% growth in their reading skills. These achievements wouldn't be possible without your vision and support. By investing in full-time school counselors, you've affirmed that mental health and personal growth are just as vital as academic success. School counseling isn't a luxury, it's a necessity in creating safe, inclusive, thriving schools. On behalf of all school counselors in Harrison School District 2, thank you for your commitment to students' holistic development. Together, we're helping every student to discover their potential, achieve their goals, and lead successful, fulfilling lives. Thank you for your time, attention, and dedication to our D2 community.
Thank you. Madam President, you said you had two examples. May we hear the second one? I know we're over time.
Make it really quick.
Thank you.
At Harrison High School, Lindsay Leggett, our college and career counselor, had made a phenomenal impact. By January of this year, she has met with every senior individually, really to provide individualized, personalized guidance. For the class of 2024, though, secured more than $5.8 million in scholarships, an increase of 46% over the prior year. And even more impressive, 2 students were named Gates Scholars, one attending Vanderbilt University and the other Berklee College of Music. And that Gates Scholarship covers all remaining college costs after other aid, with each award worth at least $80,000 over 4 years. She's the college career counselor at New Well, and she was selected by the high school college relations as, I think it was actually school counselor of the month back in October. Yeah.
Thank you so very much for that. We are moving on to item number 6, which is communicating with the board. 6.1 is the Q2, October, November, December financial report. We have Mrs. Tori Arcare, CFO.
Good evening, Madam Chair, and members of the board and council. I'd like to go ahead and get from here. Okay, I'm going to have problems with every single time up here. Okay, so this is the Q2 financial report, as I've been doing quarterly reports for you. This is compared to our original budget. So that's the first thing I want to point out to you. Our revised budget that was submitted in January was not yet accepted. So these numbers are in comparison to the original budget. So I want to make sure to do that. There are a few numbers I'd like to call out to you. First and foremost, on the revenue side, I'd like to call out and I said I'd bring a laser pointer and I didn't, but I'd like to point out property taxes under local revenue. If you go to the far right column, you'll see that it's 30 million versus 20 million that were originally budgeted. The difference is the 9.1 million from the MLO. So that is what the difference is there. I want to make sure to call. The next number I want to call out to you is state equalization number. We now have our final counts for the year. So our state, where it says state equalization under state revenue, you'll see we budgeted 132, almost 133 million, and our actual will actually come in at about 128.8 million, which is a decrease of 4.1 million. And that is due to the adjustment in student count from our budget to the actual numbers that were submitted. So it hit us significantly, obviously. So for the most part, you'll see that at the bottom of this, I don't know if you can scroll down just a little bit, but you'll see at the very bottom of this that we had budgeted 119 million, almost 120 million for the budget income and revenue, and we're going to come in at about 129.2, and that is the offset from the MLO dollars that come in the spring, but we will not use them until next year. So I'll do that. Next slide. On the next slide, there's just a few numbers I want to make sure to call out to you. Total salaries. Next slide, please. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you, Mike. Sorry. How do I go back? Okay, thanks. To save me like, oh, thank you. There you go. Okay, thank you. Mike saved me like 3 times this last 2 weeks. Actually, more than that. So the budget, I'll call out the salaries. We budgeted 79 million, which represents about 80% of the total expenditures for the district for the year, 80.2%. Estimated year end looks to come in at 75 million, and that's due to the open positions we have. On the expenses, the benefits, we budgeted 26.3 million, and we also are looking to come in at about 25.4 million, which is about $880,000 less than what we budgeted. On the operating side, the number I'd like to call out to you is purchased services. We budgeted 14.5 million, and by the end of the year, we look to be spending 23.7 million. We had several things in this category. You'll see that it's up significantly. This category projection is made up of we have substitutes charged in here. We have additional money for athletics that was under budgeted. We have additional money for summer school that we also didn't have in our original budget. And so those additional adjustments went in here. Next quarter, I'll present a different format to you. We won't have last year's last year's budget in here. We'll just have last year's actual. We'll have the new budget, the revised budget, and then we'll have the projections. So this will be cleaned up quite a bit for next time. So overall, it's looking like the ending fund balance we had budgeted, you can see the 10.6 million that we were going to have more expenditures than income. We've been working very hard, the board, the staff, and most definitely the schools. So the budget was 10.6 million more expenditures than income. Right now, we're trending about 5.7 more expenditures than income, which is a 4.9 million improvement. So it's been hard work. We're working on our budget for next year right now, and we, as I have shared and been very transparent, we continue to need help in this area because it's very, very difficult. Budget templates were rolled out to the schools and the departments this week. We've been having our budget director, Jake, meet with schools so that we can help walk schools not just through the new templates, but through some of the challenges and hard decisions that they have to make. So kudos to them. So we've seen a 46% improvement in our projection against the original budget. So that's just testament to the hard work that the staff and the schools have been doing. Next slide. I don't have the clicker. Yes, I have the clicker. Sorry. Okay. All right. I don't necessarily have to go through anything on here other than 80.8% of our budget is spent on salaries. Next year, with all the things happening at both the state and federal level, a lot of what we're doing on the budgeting side is trying to keep stable as much as possible. Although we do have to make some hard decisions. Insurance reserve fund, there really is no change here other than I do want to call out one number, which is the transfer from the general fund. And that is an adjustment that we had to make to our projection. So like I said, next time you see these numbers, they will be closer to our budget because we've submitted a revised budget based on some of these. The other number I want to call out on this slide is the workers' compensation line. We budgeted almost 600,000 and we are going to be at about 900,000. We've had more snow, we've had some accidents, we've had some slips and falls. We've had a lot more happening this year, and therefore our projection is to be higher than our budget. There really is in the nutrition, there is no significant numbers I need to call out to you. Designated purpose grants. This one, I'd like to, the total revenues, you can see has decreased from 38.8 million to 36.2 million. And that's because we moved Medicaid into general fund. Medicaid used to be called out as a separate fund, kind of like a grant, but it's not a grant, it's a reimbursement that we get. And so just, it's an accounting adjustment, but that's why this number differs. So I wanted to make sure and explain that and call it out to you. So that is pretty much it as far as everything is pretty standard and going to be within projection or at least close to projections. General fund obviously is where the most changes occur that I wanted to call out to you. And that really is about it. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. We're obviously keeping a very close eye on all of it. Sorry, I'm so horrible with the clicker.
Anyone have any questions for Mrs. Arcares? I do appreciate the new format and want to give us more information explaining on what these numbers mean and the changes, and a quarterly format is greatly appreciated. So thank you so very much for your efforts. Right, we are moving forward to item 6.2, which is the Atlas Preparatory Charter School Update. Dr. Mike Claudio, Assistant Superintendent of Support Services. Evening, sir.
Good evening, Madam President, members of the board, Dr. Burhansel. As soon as we get that PowerPoint up, I want to share with you just some strides that Atlas Prep has been making. And the first two bullets that you see here, the reading and math increase and the reducing the number of two or more grades behind in reading by 16% and math by 21%. That data has been verified with RDA, which was one of the things that the board had asked for. The last two bullets are bullets from 23-24 data. And so RDA does not have that data, so they weren't able to validate that data, but this is straight from their reporting. And what you'll see in those last two bullets is that kindergarten through fourth grade reading is up by 20%. And then K-4 math growth is also up by 9% from last year. So again, they're making gains, they're making strides. And when I meet with Brittany from Atlas Prep, one of the things that we talk about is her coaching cycle. And she kind of gave us an opportunity or a glimpse of what that looks like. And so they have their weekly morning coaching with additional check-ins on one-on-one to make sure that teachers are doing what they need to do. They're really focusing on that feedback and that accountability. And what they're doing is they're giving teachers feedback that's actionable as opposed to down the road. They want to see that impact the schools immediately. As you can see, they're making progress towards their goals and their initiatives. And one of the things that Brittany and her team is following up is making sure that that communication is happening and that there's follow-up behind it. I think one of the strengths at Atlas Prep that they've had for a number of years is their retention. And you'll notice that they have 100% retention at the elementary, which is huge because we know that if you have a constant turnover, that can reduce some of the gains that you have made. And so they're continually working on keeping those teachers there. To the right, you'll see an award that I never knew even existed, and so I had to do a little bit of research. So Atlas Prep received the Eliza Peckrell Rout Award. Now, many history buffs may know who she is. I have no idea who she was. She was Colorado's first lady back in 1893. She helped Colorado become the second state to allow women to vote, the first by popular vote, and she was actually the first woman to vote in Colorado. And so they are giving these awards out to schools who have shown that 85% of their eligible seniors are eligible and are voting. So quick little snapshot of what Atlas Prep is doing. I mean, they're making grounds. If the board doesn't know, the performance frameworks came out last year, and they're actually 3.2% away at the elementary level from becoming a performance school. Both the middle school and the high school are performance rated schools. Any questions?
Well, I'm glad to see that they're on the rise again at the elementary school level in particular. We had a lot of concerns about. So anyway, here, but you can pass along that we're really pleased to hear this report.
Absolutely. And ma'am, I meet with Brittany on February 20th, and so I'll open it up to the board. If anyone is willing to meet with me on February 20th at Atlas Prep, we'd greatly appreciate it.
Ms. Norma, can you send us all an invite, and those who can? We'll thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Claudia.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Moving on to item 6.3, the R1.1 report. Mrs. Rachel Loffer, Assistant Superintendent of Teaching and Learning. Mr. Andy Bristol, Director of Curriculum and Post-Secondary, and Mr. Scott Weldon, Director of Data. It is in your hands.
Well, you sounded very excited to hear from Director Bristol and Weldon, so I'm turning it over to them.
Good evening, board. In your slide deck, you'll see 26 slides. We're not going to go through all of them. We want to make sure you're equipped with information. So as you're working with schools, you're informed to how your performance is going. We also want to make sure you are understanding of the information that you have in front of you. And so we're going to walk through kind of a high-level overview of what you have. But it's really meant to make sure you have the information you need to have the conversations that you need. This is based on middle of the year iReady data. This is an assessment that is for ELA based on our comprehension, kindergarten through 8th grade. And for math, it measures a number of different math domains. And this is something we have done for a number of years. And we find that how we perform on this is very highly correlated to how we do on CMAS because of how familiar it is to the student experience when they're taking the assessment. Back in September, get there. Go. Back in September, we approved the indicators for this report, and so we are now reporting at mid-year on how we are at this point of the school year. And so the target, again, is based on multi-year average, the column you see in the right, for performance and on growth. It is set on our belief that our students can grow a year in a year's time. What you'll find overall in comparison to last year is that reading is about the same as it was last year. When we look at all 14 of our schools as a district, we are about plus 2% reading overall. Middle school ELA is the one you'll see the most growth. And so I'll show you a grid of how our schools are doing. Where you want to be on this plot chart would be high and to the right. That means you're achieving high and you're growing a lot. I want to focus particular attention to our middle school reading data. There has been a lot of effort on the staff's part and the central office to support our middle school literacy efforts, and it's paying dividends. I can report we're about plus 5% for our middle school reading growth. So that's very encouraging to me. This chart I refer to affectionately as the bubble chart. It's looking at the cohort over time. So this looks how this group of students by graduating class did across the years. And so this will give you trend analysis based on this group of kids. And so we're comparing like peers from as far back as we can record, in some cases in third grade, or excuse me, in kindergarten. Same information for math. We have spent a lot of professional development time and conversation at our admin meetings on math. I am happy to say that collectively K2, 3, 5, 6, 8, all of math has risen. In our mid-year report, we know we have work to do, but our work is paying off. And so I can show you that with the data. But if we look at comparison to last year, we are about 5 to 8%, depending on the grade band of what we're looking at. We have a report to you on 3 different data sets. We have iReady, ELA, and math, but we also have what we call DIBELS, and that's going to be for our early assessment. And Director Weldon is going to talk to us about that.
Thank you, Andy. Yes, so DIBELS is what we use for the READ Act for kindergarten through 3rd grade students. We report that in our UIP every year, so we decided it's important that you also see how the district is doing. I'm pleased to say this year, especially in reducing kids who have a significant reading deficiency, we are definitely on track to hit all of those targets. So our kindergarten through 3rd grade students are doing a good job how to read. So the left table is reducing students who are very below. They have a significant reading deficiency. The right table, though, is also something that our curriculum, Laura Spruce is working on very hard, is getting kids all the way to benchmark and above. Because there's also a gray area. You can be significantly below, you can be below, and you can be at or above. So it's also important that we get them at and above. And then the last thing, every January, the state releases the graduation rates. So we wanted to make sure you get to see those. And I don't know if anyone from Harrison High School is here, but they had a huge increase. Very good year for Harrison High School, class of 2024. Sierra also has an increase, just more muted than Harrison. Sorry, I love both of our high schools. Now what I did here is I put 2 tables. You've got your typical 4-year, that's on-time graduation, but Colorado tracks students for accountability's sake 7 years after high school. So kids who had extended time, the right table is showing you what that rate would be if kids had 3 more years. So class of 2021 would be the most recent 7-year data that they can give you, because that was 3 years ago, so 3 plus 4 is 7. And you can see on those extended timelines, we're a lot closer, especially to hitting our target of 88%. The last thing I wanted to point out about the graduation rate, class of 2024 overall as a district is the highest rate we've had in over 10 years. I think Wendy might hate me for pointing this out, but like since she's taken over, we have been on an upward trend of graduation rate, and I think it speaks to her leadership and the high school's leadership that we have seen continue. Like it's not a fluke, it's been going up each year. So very good news with graduation.
Scott, can you remind me where we are in the city? Are we the 4th? But we're
I can tell you we're way better than D11.
Yeah, we're way better than D11, than D3.
And
why that matters is because our kids have bigger barriers than those kids. And so when you talk about we're outperforming districts that are more affluent, that's amazing. And if you look at districts with like population, EPS is one of them, Mapleton is another. We are out graduating them by up to 20% in some. Not we, our kids. I've already graduated.
We are very close to overtaking the state in graduation rate. We are already better than the state in dropout rate. So we're doing very good at keeping our kids in school. And then last time I think I gave a lot of graduation data. I just included this. This is different demographic breakdown so that you can see how different groups are performing. Yeah, those are all our slides.
And I can just give insight. This is my own perspective, but maybe 3 years ago, our Hispanic students were out graduating our average. But since we've had more NEPs, non-English proficient students, or students coming from other countries with no schooling, their graduation rate is not as high as some of the other subgroups. So our demographics and how they kind of lay out is different, but it also matches the story of our student population and how that has changed also. So still working with all students to get to graduation. I know our principals check in all the time. We have graduation coaches, we have dropout coaches. So we have a lot of support, but I think it's interesting to just see how our rates are continuing to perform even when our diversity is increasing and some of our kids' needs are increasing.
Could you explain economically disadvantaged, how you come to that? Yeah.
Sure. That is Colorado's way of saying students who qualify for free and reduced lunch.
And I was wondering, do we still distribute like the differentiated diplomas, like the honors and the? And I just wondered only to ask, for example, like our special needs students who also get diplomas of completion, are they included in this? That's what I was wondering. Because they also go to college, some of our kiddos. So I didn't know.
They are included. The question you're asking is part of our graduation task force. And there's actually a subcommittee that is co-facilitated by Director Weldon and Dr. Burhansel, who are digging into what do we want, differentiated diplomas, different honors that we provide students upon graduation. So what we do now and what we will do in the future is kind of in transition. Both of our high school principals were at a regional workshop today, hosted by CDE around capstone and what that could look like if we go to a capstone for all model. So we will have more information. We're going to finalize that new, the new guidelines and the policy in May. So we can give you more details then.
A few factors that go into the data that we've all learned from Mr. Weldon educating us. So if our students are here with us in 7th and 8th, they automatically roll to 9th. If they've never been in high school, they count for us as not a graduate and a dropout. So they might have never stepped foot in Harrison High School, but because they went to us in middle school, it automatically rolls. And if we can't find wherever they went, it hurts our data, which obviously hurts more transient or more mobile populations, which we serve. The other thing that we have that is a higher percentage than most other districts is we have students coming in high school who've never had any credits. So they're coming as juniors from a different country and they have 2 credits. And so we do everything to get them what they need, but the reality of coming with 2 credits when you need 24 is a lot of times CRA can help as much as we can, but I just think some of those challenges and how they calculate doesn't tell the whole story of the good work happening in our high schools and some of the barriers that our high schools have that other high schools don't experience.
And if I could just add, so Andy Bristol works very closely with Tammy Holland, Director of CLDE, to really take a student-based approach when we do have a new student from out of country who either has a transcript that does not easily translate to an American school system, or is from a country where we cannot get a transcript from their school at all. In the past, there hasn't been a way to really dig into what previous knowledge and courses that student took and how do we credit them for it. So we've gotten really creative in doing some different assessments, interviews to see they may have taken biology. How do we prove that they have some biology knowledge? It's going to be in a different language, but that doesn't mean they have to repeat biology here with us. We can give them the credit and then support the language while they continue through their science course progression. So the 2 of them have been working really closely, and it takes hours upon hours
with every individual student in that situation to make sure we're doing the best for that student, but also translating it into Colorado expectations and American school systems. So we're excited about that work as well.
It may be a dumb one. Concurrent enrollment students are not right.
If a concurrent enrollment student is a student who's enrolled in high school who also takes classes at the college, and so they would be considered a high school graduate. If you graduate early, you are part of the graduating class of your anticipated year of graduation. Did I get that right, Scott?
That's correct. So if you graduate early, like if you graduated as an 11th grader last year, you won't count in these numbers until class of 2025 is published.
All right, does anyone else have any more questions? We really do look forward to your report.
And just for the record, our 10-minute time limit was for the slides. It did not include the lovely questions and conversation that we had. Anything else you need from us? It might be because Dr. Burhensel told us 3 times to make sure we hit the time. So please clock us if you did.
No, this is really incredible content. And so thank you so very much for taking the time to explain to me. Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
We are moving on to item 7.1. Is OE9 communicating with the board, monitoring report. This is Christine O'Brien. Thank you.
Let's try that one more time. Good evening, President Wills Hill, members of the board, and Dr. Burhansel. I am presenting OE9 tonight. This will be very quick because this OE is compliant, and you can see in the analysis that the OE is found to be 100% in compliance with a high amount of communication with the Board of Education, both by the superintendent and department leads. Do you have any questions?
I'll comment though. I think each department has worked really hard for the past year and a half on the details of the OEs, and I think that work is showing now. So thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. This is a big celebration.
All right. If there's no other questions or comments, Mrs. Arambide, we would like to send this to the consent agenda. Right. And you're still here.
Back again, green light
Yes.
still on.
7.2 OE3 treatment of stakeholders indicator report.
Super. So in this indicator report, there is one small suggestion for change on page 2, and you will see the word added in red. In the superintendent interpretation, we propose adding staff as one of our stakeholder groups because that closely aligns with the culture section of our D2 strategic plan, and we felt they were overlooked previously. That is the only change suggested.
So anyway, there's no other questions or comments, and I really like that addition as well. Yes. So we are going to move that to consent agenda. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. We're moving forward to item 8.1. It is the February personnel and comparison report. And at this time, is there any questions regarding the report? Any comments? Seeing that there's none, I just need a recommended motion, please.
Madam President, I move to approve the superintendent consent agenda items as stated.
Motion to approve the superintendent's Consent agenda for items stated by Mr. Williams, second by Ms. Frazier. All those in favor?
Aye.
I kidding back. We're moving forward. Item 9. Agenda. January 23rd. 5. Item 9.2. 9. Communicating with the monitoring. Item 9.3. Stakeholders. Recommended.
Madam President, I move to accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion to accept the board agenda as presented by Dr. Pam Robinson. Favor?
Aye.
Moved. To item 10, annual work plan.
Just a couple of dates that were added and just other changes that we'll have for the annual work plan going forward.
Thank you. I wanted to let our know that on Friday, February 21st, 9 to noon, there is a webinar on chronic absenteeism. And that has become a serious, serious issue in our schools. And if you all would like, I have it.
21st from 9 to
9 to noon. Mhm.
Thank you, Ms. Fraser. Moving to 10.2 is legislative updates.
So since we've last met, there's been a lot of things in the world. A lot of executive orders coming out of Washington, along with their policies coming down. I think one thing that we talked to admin about this week is be a cautious consumer of media. Just because something says it's an executive order does not mean anything's changing, because there is not any law. So I think we need to all calm down and make sure we have all the details before we act on it. To help us in a district, Catherine is sending a weekly update of just what's happened in the last week and what it means for our district and how we'll proceed, or if there's any changes. From the state legislature, the biggest thing that we need to pay attention to is school finance. Doesn't change. I think the good news is that they're starting to listen to some of us, and we will be meeting with Representative Bacon, who wants to meet with us because she has an affinity for D2 and she wants to hear why we are not fans of the school funding formula. And so Corey and I will meet with her, and I'll invite you once we get that scheduled. But she wants to really hear why their solution is not a solution. It's actually a problem. And they thought they did an at-risk funding that would increase funding and would help districts like ours, when in reality it hurts us. And so I'm just excited that she's open to the conversation so that she can make sense of it and take it back. The other couple things that are out there is there's a bill around creating a cell phone policy. They want every district to have a cell phone policy, and that's pretty much the bill. It doesn't say what has to be in the policy or what doesn't have to be in the policy. So while we would say it's an overreach of local control, I would say we let the policy ride and we support a policy that has no teeth of what we have to include. Catherine is also working on that policy with us, and I'm getting student feedback this month on what they think it should be. And their ideas of technology are very different when it's their cell phone in their pocket. What do they want? So, but great ideas and feedback from our students. The last one is the accountability bill. I told you we're still in draft, now we're in draft 2. It went from 108 pages down to 105, I think. So we are still working through that, has not been introduced. We expect support on it, but we know we will have some pushback. So those are the ones we're really monitoring. I think 15 bills got introduced yesterday, so we're still kind of looking through of how those affect us. But we know there's a lot more coming.
Dr. Burhansel, hypothetically, I know you've asked us to calm down and relax, but hypothetically, if the federal government decides to turn over education to the states, in your best guesstimate or opinion, does that hurt us or will it help us?
So just some facts. To be able to get rid of the Department of Education, you have to have a vote in Congress. The House has the votes. The Senate does not have the votes. They have to get 7 Democrats to cross party lines to approve that change. And no one predicts that that will happen. They don't think they have 7 votes to find. So that's just the facts out there. I mean, we've had times where we haven't had a centralized Department of Education long ago. I think in a state that does a lot of stuff to support districts like ours, it would be better than some other states that won't do anything. The problem is if the money goes to the state, it doesn't go to education. It goes to the state, and the state then divides it. And we see we're already fighting on school finance, so now we're just going to be fighting for a larger pool. I think the bigger concern is what happens with title and with special ed funding. Again, Congress has to agree, there has to be bills, there has to be support, but that's been a targeted area we continue to hear, and that is a large part of our district's funding because we have such a large group of students. So watching that closely, but I think, when we hear that the president's going to get rid of it and then he sends people home to work, that makes people very anxious, which we get, but nothing's changed in terms of what's happening for us immediately.
Thank you, Dr. Burhansel. We are at item 11, which is to adjourn. And I just need a recommended motion again.
Madam President, with no further business, I move to adjourn the Board of Education combined work session and board meeting.
Second.
Motion to adjourn the combined Board of Education work session and board meeting by Mr. Williams, second by Ms. Frazier. All those in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you so much.